rising inflation, stabilizing, ability to purchase goods and services out there. And then, well, the danger that the current inflation figure posed to businesses out there is what we're looking at this morning, even though we talked about that before, but we cannot exhaust the topic. I've got a business expert, or you can say business consultant with me. I'm talking about John Iyoha. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us this morning on the show. Okay, so let's quickly check. There is a current figure from the NBS, that's the National Bureau of Statistics. Month of May, our inflation rate was at 17.71%. That's, of course, an 11-month high. And then we have a latest record, which, of course, has now given us something to worry about at 18.60%. We want to know, really, if we want to go back, how did we get to this point where, of course, this becomes an issue where businesses find it now so difficult to survive in this kind of terrain?
Okay, so first of all, have to talk about money supply.
Okay.
So the money supply for the country keeps rising.
Okay.
For whatever reason, we do not know, but the CBN keeps on pumping a lot more money into the economy that already has an excess. And then cost of production keeps going up. And then the demand for products that we do not make here keep rising. And then we start to see that companies, because of the demand that keeps rising, keep on increasing this cost. Again, owing to their cost of production, these companies have to keep on increasing the cost because they have to throw the burden of cost back to the final consumer. Yes,
that's some kind of danger there. So,
yes.
And yes, you talked about throwing it back to the final consumer now.
Yes.
How will that affect the purchasing power of the consumer?
Gravely. The final consumer is in trouble. He basically has to generate more money for himself. So if I was going to give any advice to the everyday Nigerian, is to find more ways to generate income. Okay. If you're not doing so now, it will mean that your purchasing power will be stifled. Yes.
Wow, serious. It's a major issue.
Major.
Anyways, the Central Bank of Nigeria, they're set to have their meeting. That meeting is coming through today.
Yes.
That's the Monetary Committee of the CBN. Is this 286th meeting coming through today? I don't know what you think will be the focal point as far as that gathering is concerned. Okay,
I would tell you that this present tenure for the central bank has not been beneficial to Nigerians. Okay. They would have to introspect and see what they have not done right in the previous years, and see how that can be better. They are continuing to replay old methods, waiting for new solutions, but it's the same methods that they're using. So I would say they need to look strongly at SMEs. SMEs for a lift in entrepreneurship, because obviously we're not going to see a great solution from government. We need to see that small businesses now can cater for themselves. So any policies that favor SMEs in Nigeria would be very important to advocate for. The country is becoming increasingly hard for small businesses to thrive. So all policies have to be geared towards there, so that SMEs can prosper in this ecosystem. It's better for us here in Edo State, probably based on state government policies, but it's not so around the country, and this has to change.
Okay, you talked about SMEs surviving now. What exactly do you think? You are a business expert. Let's talk from that point now. As a business expert who, of course, has been dishing out ideas and motivating small businesses out there, how really do you think, even in the face of these? Because now I don't want to ask you now. I'm tempted to ask you whether you see any positivity. Do you see a situation where the current inflation rate is going to come down, or they should keep going up? Because what we have seen in recent past, especially for the past 5 years, is that the figure keeps going up and up and up. So I don't know. Do you see the current figure coming down?
Okay, so there are two questions there. What does the SME have to do?
Yes.
And would this figure come down?
Yeah.
So let me take the first one.
Yeah.
What the SME has to do. The SME has to find ways to reduce cost for their business. So, the cost of production happening to me. What way can I reduce this cost?
Okay.
If the business owner cannot figure this out, there will be trouble. So the SME has to find ways to reduce that cost. The SME also has to find alternative marketing channels, because right now, the one you're using now, clearly is not doing all the work for you. The SME also has to find ways to collaborate with other businesses that might help it also reduce cost. The SME also has to be open to strategy. Many Nigerian businesses are not very open to strategy. So if they say a consultant is here to help you, they are not really open to that. They think it's just advice, and it's more than that.
Don't you think they are scared of the cost implication? Yeah,
but cost versus benefit, we do that in business. So even if the cost implication might be high, but ask yourself, what benefit does this person bring to me? So the cost might be high, but the benefit is way higher. So
in the long run? In
the long run, which is what business is. Any business progress that is short run is not sustainable. So that's one thing. Then would this change? Would this change? I would not say that based on the precedence of the present regime of the central bank government. I'm not very hopeful.
It's not, you don't see the figure coming down?
I'm not very hopeful,
Wow, that is huge. Okay, so if the figure doesn't drop, it means we are going to remain at this point and just try to manage the situation?
Yes, in our Nigerian spirit.
In our Nigerian spirit, just manage the situation. We are just
going to manage this situation, because right now, the body language, if I would use that term from the Nigerian central bank, it's not. It doesn't show that things will be better in the coming days.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's not something to hold on to at all. It's okay.
Anyway,
so let's look at from the government point of view now. I mean, you talked about how the fact that these are the things that SMEs can do and all that to see that they can stay afloat in the business environment and all that. Let's see what exactly you think that government of the day can actually do to help see that even the small businesses, as they make efforts, this effort doesn't end in futility.
So the government can encourage the creation of clusters. The government can help small business SMEs, so MSMEs, find ways to access funds. The government can make sure that there's a market. And then the government can make sure that that there's an enabling environment to do business. Yes, I mean, especially for industries like commerce, like the fintech industry, and numerous others in the market now. So agriculture, food industry, food processing, all of these people, they are needing assistance from government, and I don't think that they are getting it as much as they would want. So,
You talked about, you just made reference to fintech now. Do you think that young Nigerians out there are taking advantage of that sector?
As much as they would want to, the policies from the federal government have been volatile in that sector. So it's not giving them a good precedence on whether to move forward with it. But yes, a lot of people are doing so. A lot of people have even moved more now to telehealth. So these industries are prospering, but they could be doing much more if the government gave them the positive outlook, saying that this is something that will prosper here. Yes.
Okay, so you think for those who actually want to delve into that area now, I mean, it's more or less like the sky, all right? It's so wide, and a lot of persons can actually take advantage. But exactly, anyway, even though we're not talking about fintech now, I mean, but everything still falls under the purview of how government can create an environment to see that everybody thrives in whatever area they find themselves as far as business is concerned. But looking at fintech itself, you see young people wanting to take advantage of that particular sector. Do you see the possibility of a situation where, if that happens, if a lot more young persons, go into that sector, I mean, they will be able to survive, even though we have what we say a harsh environment.
Yes, we would survive. Young people would survive in whatever sector. The Nigerian spirit is tenacity. Okay. So we find them that in spite of unfavorable policies, we find our way around it. Okay. So yes, they will survive. But again, the advantage of doing business in Nigeria must be seen. Okay. I mean, if not, we'll find these young people have to go to other countries, and then the brain drain that has started with a lot of young people leaving the country, would be even much more. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want all our best minds to think that this place is not comfortable for success.
But it now seems as though some of our young people, they go that way. And I mean, just like you mentioned now, they go that way, and then they bring up these ideas, and the idea is flourishing then over there, and then they bring it back home.
Yes, because the Nigerian market is undeniable. We have 200 million strong people.
That's too much money, right?
That's too much money to forget. But yes, the initial stage of doing business, where we can sprout out and be strong and established and know that this business is sustainable, is Nigeria the most comfortable place for that now? I think that question would be for the government to answer. I mean,
well, you already know the answer the government will give to you.
Yes. So I mean, that they have to answer.
If you were in government, for example, if you are in government, okay, and I mean, this question is staring at you in the face. I'm sure you're going to say, well, we have created an enabling environment for small businesses to strive.
Government might say that.
They might say that. They will say that.
Yes, but it might not be correct on every front.
Okay.
In every state. Okay. So there are some governments that have tried. I mean, state governments that have tried. Edo State will be one of those governments. Okay. Yes, they have tried, but not every state government has put in the same foresight and wisdom to make their small-scale economy for businesses thrive.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. You talked about Edo State now, so more or less, like, let's come back home a little bit.
Okay.
What exactly, what area do you think the government have been able to, to impact the young people out there so they can be taken off the streets and, of course, take advantage of some of the things that business has got to offer, as far as creating an enabling environment and see that small businesses thrive?
Okay, so the Obaseki-led government has created such a platform for businesses to thrive. So we have access to finance, the opportunities exist. We also have business knowledge programs where competence in business is increased.
You talked about access to finance. Are
Yes.
you talking from experience?
Yes, I'm talking from experience.
You have access to finance?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yes. So yes, access to finance,
okay.
so business knowledge programs, so that competence can grow. We have the synergy that the ecosystem has brought.
Okay.
So the fact that many big businesses with composite services have gathered, now we know that I need you and you need me.
Yeah.
So it helps us keep the money at home. It keeps on going from one hand to another.
Yeah, within the same. Yeah.
Yes, enabling for prosperity among the businesses here in Benin.
Oh.
So if somebody is listening saying, I don't know about this, then the person should do a lot more to find out, because things are happening.
And I like that part, do a lot more to find out. So you should do the research yourself, and definitely you'll find out. Anyway, you heard from our business consultants. John Iha joined me on the show this morning, helping us to dissect the current inflation rate and, of course, how businesses can survive, including consumers out there, how your purchasing power can, of course, be helped so you won't be struggling. It's crazy. It's crazy. But of course, as a consumer, I mean, everybody is a consumer. But as a consumer, really, you talked about how small businesses can survive. For the consumer out there, I mean, you go to the market today, you're getting something for 5 naira, and then you go in the next 1 hour, not even the next day now, in the next 1 hour, in the next 30 minutes.
The price has changed.
The price has changed, really. how can an average Nigerian out there, how can such a person really survive this current inflation rate at 18%? You know, they even say it's even 20% now, and that is already above the World Bank projection that Nigeria will get to around 15%.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's a travesty what is happening. The inflation rate keeps increasing. You would go 5 seconds later and the price is different. So first thing, like I said, is that we would have to increase your own internal money supply. So the money you make for yourself, you have to increase it. Secondly, you would have to do a lot of bulk buying. So you have to buy. So if you buy more, then you're not going to spend the same money that you buy for retail price.
Are you sure you're not talking to the big money spenders? I mean,
yes.
even if you don't have enough in your pockets, will you have enough to buy in bulk?
Yes. So that's the problem there. But it's something that we would all have to prepare for. Because if you're buying small, you're actually spending more. Yes, and you would also have to find who. So in a chain of business, there's the manufacturer, the wholesaler, and the retailer. Many times there are many retailers before it gets to the final person. That increases cost. So you would have to try to see how you can cut that chain and find the person that product is getting to first. That might reduce your cost too.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talking about John, you are helping us to have an understanding of how this inflation, how we can not just thrive, but of course stay strong at this point in time. All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the show will continue shortly. Please stay with us.